All right. Hang on. Is this thing working? I haven't working. Sorry, guys. G'day, guys. Welcome to another episode of Count Down to Live. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's doing great. Thanks for joining me again tonight. Yeah, we're going to run straight into this. Sorry, we're running a little bit late, but things happen and life happens. But anyway, we'll get into it. I hope everyone can hear me all right, going through, and everything's going good. I didn't really set this up properly, so we're back into it. And look, I hope everyone's doing well. Anyway, look, guys, before we get started, there, thanks for joining me again. If you haven't seen, I've got a new online store, which is just released today. Got things sorted out, and hopefully make things a little bit easier and a bit more navigatable and blah blah blah, whatever. But yeah, go check out the online store. Hopefully, the link works in the chat there, which I put in there. So go check that out. There's some great quality merchandise there, some great designs there, and with a new fantastic design, which I might show you.
I can't hear you, mate.
Oh, so I've been talking with this thing all muted. Oh, Jesus, there we go. Now I'm talking. Wow, that's not the first time that's happened. Oh, mate, it's been a while since that's happened. But yeah, I'm here. I am talking to myself. I love that.
Oh, and I'm on the broken phone.
Yeah, I'm not thinking, surely someone's going to be on the comments going, yeah, I can hear you. But no one's can hear me. That's awesome, mate. Oh, mate. It's awesome having you back on, mate. People loved having you on last week there and listening to your stories there, mate. It was absolutely fantastic episode with you. And
Yeah, I was going to
I'm
ask
clear
how you went.
make sure like to get you back on here this week, mate. I know I sort of left a little bit late to get you back on, mate, but it's been a busy week for me, and it's just either way, it worked out really well, mate. So it's great to have you back on.
No, all good, mate. I was going to ask how you went. So yeah, good to see you got some good feedback.
Yeah, no, that's great, mate. Thank you very much, mate. So look, mate, let's get into where we sort of left off, mate, because when you sort of explained last time we were on, you had quite some phenomenal experiences there growing up and throughout your lifetime for over the years. Some absolutely mind blowing ones there, and not to mention like whatever is happening with you and your body and your resilience and whatever that is, like whatever you want to call that, mate. It's just absolutely unbelievable. So, but then you left us on a bit of a cliffhanger there with something that you didn't really want to go and lead us on with just yet, and you wanted to leave it to another time. So, mate, I want to let you go and sort of start off from, if you don't mind, start off from where we sort of left off with your incident there with the in the highway to where you had this encounter.
Yeah, well, as I said, it was a hell of an experience, and going through it, nothing really makes sense about it from start to finish, and coming through it the way I did made me sit back and question past experiences and how I'd come through them unscathed. And, I'm not talking little incidences, I'm talking 170 kilometres an hour into a telegraph pole and through truck windscreens and getting hit by cars, you name it. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And yeah, just the lack of injury or even sometimes the recovery times just been questionable, to say the least.
Definitely,
So
something's going on there,
yeah,
mate. Something's going on.
yeah, absolutely. And like I said, with this latest incident, I was gone for all money, and there's just no reason or rhyme why I should have survived it. And as I accepted my fate, as I stated before, I just had this orb. It was like a glow that just come over me and stayed with me till I basically stood up off the road. And that's questioned my whole experience and my whole existence. To be honest, I just every day is filled with why, why, how, why, and surgeons don't help. Like my latest surgeon, great surgeon. Um, like I said, he just left me standing there cold, just with that's weird, and just walked out. And turns out later I was, found out I was 4 to 5 months ahead of progress when I'd only just literally taken my arm out of the sling after being isolated for 6 weeks. So recovery time's been interesting, but that led me to something that, like I said, in my life, I've only had two surgeries, and they've both been in the last 18 months. The last one, the recent one, my shoulder, supposed to be 45-minute keyhole. Surgeon spent quite a considerable longer time on me, which caused me to stay over and held in hospital. Plan was just to basically be released from hospital and get a lift home to where I was living so I could recuperate in peace and quiet. And that wasn't the plan. I was quite sedated when I left the hospital. And my lovely mother, in all her wisdom, changed plans on me without me knowing, and ended up at my sister's house, quite a considerable distance from where I was living. But I guess, from her point of view, I wasn't on my own, stuck in an isolated place. I was there under some care, so I could see why. So yeah, it was quite. How would you say? It's hard to lead, it's hard to go into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead with how we left our conversation.
Yep.
So after the last podcast, we stayed in contact a little bit on the air without anybody else, and we were just chit chatting away. And you happened to say something. What did you say? Do you remember?
Oh, now it's got me. Jeez, what did I say? All I remember is
Something.
like it was giving me some. It was spine chilling. It was gave me goose pimples. that's
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'll jog your memory. It's not like a grey man was looking through the window or anything.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah,
That
so let's go there.
let's do it, mate. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's dive in. I want to avoid it. I want to work my way around it. I want to ask you questions to try. Oh, I tell you what. The night we did the podcast and you said what you said just out of the blue, floored me. Like I turned white, and yeah, it took my breath away. Um, so yeah, so let's get into it. So on the first night at my sister's, when I should have been at my place at home, because that was the plan that was implanted in me to be at home. That was where I needed to be. I just fought to get out of the hospital. I wanted to be self-released. They wouldn't let me. I just wanted to be. There was just I had to be out of there. I had to go. And like I said, adjacent to my plans, my mother took me to my sister's place. So first night I'm there, I'm on the ground floor. That's quite a large house, 2 stories, very nice. It's a nice house. I'm on the ground floor. I'm in bed, and I was awoken. I awoke. Uh, I'd say I awoke in fright. Um, when I awoke, I was scared. Um, don't know. I couldn't tell you why. I was just scared. I woke up in a fright, and I felt because I was still, with the surgery, I only had one arm. So I felt myself trying to push myself up in the bed, up on the pillows. And that's when I started to get really scared because I wasn't moving. I couldn't move. I was physically sending signals and I was trying to move, but there was nothing going on. And I just remember my eyes darting around, and there's one single room, very nice bed, lovely room, and on the right is a bedroom window that would be 2.5 foot high and probably about 5 foot long. Literally goes the length of the bedroom wall in the middle of the wall. Um, Open, blinds drawn, the neighbour quite close, large fence on the outside, dog in the backyard. and not a quiet dog, quite a loud dog for the size of it. And that's when I caught that's when I caught what I could only describe as a body, the biggest eyes I've ever seen in my life. And the thing that got me was the windows inset into the building. It was about so I walked outside the next morning and checked it out. Windows inset from the outside of the building, probably a good 4 inches, and it was the fingers. The fingers are what really made me want to cry like a baby. To be honest, they were just sort of in onto the sill about head height, and they were adjacent level with the eyes. And the eyes they weren't round. They didn't have any colour apart from just darkness. They were just black, but they were more like I would say an overly oblong shape, like upright, not sort of that way. They were more sort of overly up on the face. No nasal feature whatsoever, um, and literally no mouth. I could see no mouth. Um, it was, it wasn't like we were lit up in a street light or anything like that. It was in the backyard, so the only lighting would have been coming from probably the side light that was on the bedside table. Um, I was screaming. Every fibre and every being of my existence was trying to crawl through that head set behind the bed and through that wall. I wanted to be as far away as I could possibly be from that moment. Just did not want to be there. And as much as I was yelling, as much as I was thrashing around, and as much as I was kicking blankets off, to see that I was physically not moving a muscle was just so cold, just cold, chillingly cold. Just no. And I'm not a little man. I'm a pretty big, decent fella, and I've got a bit of strength about me. And it was like I was under glad wrap and someone vacuum sealed me in. That's what it felt like. And as much as I'm trying to scream and I'm trying to breathe, I just got this. It was almost like I was chastised. Um, Basically, just saying, "Stop it! You're being silly. You've been through this before. You know what's happening. Just stop it." And I felt like a child. It was like a parent speaking to a 3-year-old. And yeah, that's when some calmness came. Yeah, can't really tell you much more about that because I don't have any more memory of it. But that's got to be the freakiest existence, the scariest thing I've happened in my lifetime ever, in any way, shape, or form. I've faced down armed gangs, I've faced down crazy people. I've been in some pretty bad situations, but never in my life have I ever been put in that situation that I can remember or ever want to know of. And got to be honest, I really kind of don't want to remember that. Um, so yeah, coming to terms with that is going to take maybe maybe a little bit of therapy because it, it's hard to look in the mirror and say you might as well wet yourself. You were that scared. Uh, so yeah, reluctance to talk about it at the time and with you and probably ever again in my life will stand very strong, very strong. So, how was dinner? What'd you have for tea?
That's the way to break the ice, mate. I can't appreciate it enough for you, mate, talking about this, mate. Like, I know how traumatic it is, and like, I'm actually like, again, I've got like goosebumps, goose pimples. It is spine chilling, mate. And like, and you jolted my memory there. What I've said to you when you asked the question, and I think I said, was it like someone in the window waving to you, in that regard, and I think that was what triggered you. And then you didn't say anything, but you just went, your whole body language just spoke, and it's just like, you're kidding me, like that's like, I'm sure everyone's had this too, like in their past, like throughout their lifetime. That you could be, was some friend playing a prank on them, and like they're in the window there, and all of a sudden you don't see them until you learn, and it scares the shit out of you. And the fact that this is something that is not of human nature to come through the window, mate, that puts it tenfold. Like, I'm
The
feeling for you right now, man. Like, I'm shaking for you. Like, I oh, it's yeah, something that's
the
just you can't comprehend.
the thing that stands out the most, and the thing that really frightens me right to this moment, was the familiarity. Um, that was that was chilling.
Yeah,
Um,
because I picked up what you mentioned there, which you didn't mention last time we were talking off air, and you said that you've done this before. So this makes me want to question, like, you've obviously had some experience of this before. But I'm reluctant to bring it up for you because of the
yeah.
way you're feeling right
Um,
now. Maybe if you're comfortable to keep talking about it, but
no, no, we'll keep talking. It'll stop me jittering.
yeah, you're right, mate. You're giving me the bloody jitters, that's for sure. Like, oh,
So yeah, like I said, there's been times where I've done interstate trips and people have gone, "What happened to you? Where have you been? You should have been here, hours and hours ago." That's happened dozen or more times. Like I said, I've just got to the stage where I just put it down to, oh, I must be taking extra stops. I must be taking longer to get fuel. You know, I must be sightseeing. I must be not doing the speed limit. Um, but yeah, after what happened just before Christmas, um, that was yeah, and like I said, the way I was spoken to, um, if you could speak to your old jacket that you love the best, it was like you were speaking to that. You know, just so familiar with it, just um, almost even knowing how I would react to the way that I was spoken to. Um, knocked me for six. I got nothing. Got nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just for those who weren't here in the last episode there, I'm pretty sure you did mention just before we finished up the words that were said, like, "What are you doing here?" If I remember correctly.
That
And
was that was yeah. That was the first words that was spoken. I heard that was what resonated just through my head. Yeah, and that was when at that stage I was in full panic mode. I wasn't having a conversation. I was, yeah, as far as I was concerned, I was rabbit burrowing through the wall into the next room. Um, yeah, and that sort of leads me back to why I had to be out of that hospital. How come I needed to be gone out of there? How come I needed to be at home in my room? Um, but yeah, it was it was as if you grew up with your grandfather and he was a stone man, and that's how he was addressing you as an infant. It was the familiarity in the voice was just so surreal compared to what I was looking at, because there was nothing familiar with what was standing outside that window. Nothing at all. Didn't even look like anything you see on the pictures that you see on the shows, and but nothing like anything that yeah. Um, definitely only one. Definitely only one voice, and definitely only one way line communication, and that was directly to me. Um, I don't think I could even respond. I don't think I could mentally have or physically have responded. I was in, I was in run fight or flight, and I was flighting, which, which is not really ever been in my nature. um,
Yeah, well, I don't think they really gave you much of a choice if it came to the fight. So
uh, yeah, and yeah, like I said, it was just that. Yeah, I'm sure there's medications or drugs that are in the world that would, you know, completely knock your body out and still have you physically in the moment. But yeah, I've never experienced anything like that. That was, I was going to say, out of this world,
yeah. So
for want of a
after the
better
whole
word.
of yeah, so after the whole event, like, what do you sort of feel might have happened? Like, 'cause I know you say you don't really remember what happened, but do you sort of have a feeling of what could have happened after this whole encounter?
Um, I believe and have confirmation through my specialists and my surgeon. Um, I believe they intervened with, I guess, what you could only say would be the healing process. Um, like I said, physio, the specialist, the surgeon, just had no answers as to how I could be so far advanced in my recuperation. Uh, at best, they were looking at 6 months or more before I could even function properly and have near normal movement, let alone start to build strength. Um, yeah, I was nearly at that stage within 6 weeks of the surgery. I was doing weights, pretty well within 6 weeks of the surgery.
That's incredible, man. Like, it's like this the whole concept, this whole incident that's happened, like, to go and lead up to this. It's, yeah, it's just whatever's going on, mate, I really would love to know what's going on in your lifestyle to try and give some sort of answers and some sort of clarity, but it's just one of those things we're never really gonna know.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't go through windscreens, you don't hit telegraph poles, you don't get hit by cars at 80 k's an hour and get up and walk away. You just don't. So, yeah, and I don't like cats, so I don't believe I've got 9 lives.
Yeah, you got more than 9 lives, that's for sure. It's
Yeah, but one thing and look, if you want to input anything, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, one thing I want to touch on is how this could happen in such a way that the dog doesn't go off. Uh, you know, would sensor lights go off, or do they? Does anyone have an experience of where the sensor lights have been triggered by that sort of thing? People in the house, they don't rock up in an Uber. Um, Certainly don't feel like they've rocked up in something that's hovered over the house or anything like that. I just can't see that being possible without, you know, neighbourhood dogs, cats, animals, whatever, neighbours, local crackheads walking down the street. Surely because someone's sort of it's going to come to attention. So it's really sort of starting to, or it's made me look into a few things about it. But whether it's through frequencies or whatever. But I think they really are interdimensional. I can't make sense of it any other way.
Yeah,
Really.
it sort of does lead that way because like whatever they've been able to do, that's they're able to alter the whole surrounding area. Like you're saying, like the dogs didn't get involved. There's no one's seeing these things. Like there's always stories of people like saying like surrounding areas, no one seems to see these things or hear these things. So whatever they're doing, they're able to you know do something around the surrounding area environment. And it would
And
also explain like why animals aren't picking up on them when they should be.
yeah, and I heard an interesting theory the other day where they're talking. This guy was talking about how they may be using different forms of radiation and frequencies to cause um, like your comatose type body, the memory implants or the wiping of the memory, things like that. And as much as I don't understand because I'm not nowhere near educated enough to even grasp it, it seems to be the only thing that you can allow to make sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, because there's just, I think the technology just must surpass anything we've been allowed to have. And, I'm a firm believer that something happened in, the 1900s at some stage, and we were able to recover, whatever, and reverse engineer stuff from there. I sort of looked at this fact one day. Those Christmas cards you can get where you can open them up and they play the musical tune Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday or whatever. There's more technology in those cards than there was in the entire Earth in 1954. You know what I mean?
it's yeah, I probably wouldn't be surprised in that actually.
Like, what happened? Yeah.
Oh mate, I could go down a whole rabbit hole of what's happened. Like there's so many things that's been lost in history there regarding
Absolutely.
technology, and yet
Yeah.
we're
And,
sort of
and
plain and basic to what we are today, all because of
yeah.
commercialization or what do you want to blame it on?
Exactly. And I think, yeah, God, I'd love to run into some people that are playing with frequencies and dynamics in the form of how we receive treatment, whether it be via radiation or other things. We certainly seem to have been able to reverse engineer a lot of technology. I mean, look at the silicon chip. What's it, 99 point something or other, whatever silica, and the rest is who knows. Yeah. So yeah, that's um, that's the path I'm probably on at the moment, is trying to learn more about how they work and what platforms they use to work on, because they seem to be able to come and go as they please. But in saying that, they don't seem to be regular visits, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. That's the whole thing that sort of scares me, like this whole topic. Like, as interesting as this whole topic is, the biggest thing that scares me is this whole thing is the fact that they can just turn up whenever they want, do whatever they want without any sort of form of consent or any acknowledgement or, any sort of knowledge of them even being there. And
Yeah,
to me, that scares the shit out of me on this whole thing.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
because like your whole defenses are down. Like you're taken advantage of, and that to me is horrible for anyone to experience this sort of shit.
And yeah, I like I said, that feeling I had in that bedroom, the closest I could describe it was just being under glad wrap and everyone sucking the air out of it, and you just being just pinned every inch of your body, every millimeter, just pinned.
Yeah, it sort of makes me wonder too, like, excuse me, like obviously you got some sort of history with these guys, and for whatever reason, like there must be some sort of connection with you and obviously other multiple um, people who are having these experiences. There's some sort of connection there. It's like, why would not create like a relationship where you have some sort of agreements where you're communicating? Obviously, like those kind of people are going to the general public and start looking like crazy people if you're going to start sort of saying, "Hey, look, I'm talking to these beings of some other sorts or whatnot." But
Well,
even if you could just sort of keep your relationship secret, and sort of keep things, you know, down low,
is
but
it is
you're still aware it then.
is that agreement entered into in this dimension?
Well,
Like,
yeah, that's
or
another
is
thing.
it entered into, you know, on whatever the first encounter was or would be or may be, on their side of the wall? Have you entered into this? And there is a, like you said, a relationship, but just you, I guess to protect your sanity, you're left in the dark about it. You're not aware of it
Yeah.
on this side.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've got Paul and Cyan here from the Zeta connection. They get quite deep into the whole bit of communication and abductee cases there, regards to people like yourself. They get quite into it. I might actually try and, if you feel all right talking with them, they've got a bit more experience in this regard to me. I collect the information. That's about all I do, and listen and try and get a bit of an understanding myself. But these guys get right deep into it and help people out. If you're willing to talk to them, they because
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul's here saying that it's an agreement prior to birth, which I've heard of that too. But I've also heard of stories there where it's in the family bloodlines there, where someone in relation in the past has sort of agreed to something in that relation. Because usually, from stories that I've heard, people their family members are still having these experiences there in the past, and it's still going along with that bloodline. So yeah, like, it's one of those things like what do you want to sort of take on it?
Yeah,
Whether
and
like,
look,
and I think you said that your family had some experiences as well, didn't they?
yeah, and look, if they're half as intelligent as you give them credit for, um, surely they're not going to keep targeting people that they just, are gonna resist or be resilient to whatever they're doing. Um, it would just make their task more difficult, wouldn't it? So I guess that makes sense where they are aware of your existence and being before you're born because they know you're coming. Um, can't see why that wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think any sort of theory at this point is like not off the table, because there's just so many different ideas and sort of concepts and the whole nature of this whole thing. And whichever one's right or wrong, we just don't know. But there's obviously whatever they are, they're doing something for a reason, whether it's for their own benefits or they're trying to maybe sneakily invade the earth. But it's sort of it depends on which way you want to go. Like, I'm putting out different
Yeah, and
concepts out there, but it's all
I even
assumptions.
looked into I've even looked into the theory of um, abductees and what they experience in their way of numbers involved, um, and I guess the threat to you and or their care of you. Um, so it was interesting to me to just only have this one. Can't have any other word for it. This one being present. Like there wasn't two, there wasn't three, there wasn't a horde of them. There was just this one, and going by his hand and his fingers and his upper torso, I don't think he'd be much of a match for anyone.
Yeah.
he's not. He's not gonna. He's not gonna be making. You know, Pee Bloody Herman or whatever his name is take a backward step in the ring. But to physically see them, him, it, she, they, whatever you want to call them these days, got to be careful, I guess. The most frightening thing in your life. Like I said, I've faced down some scary things, but never, never wanted to just wet myself and weep like a girl before.
Yeah. It's sort of like I think, someone asked a question there last time we were talking about this, like, they asked if you want to go into, like, a hypnotherapy and try and remember this or any other past things, and you said, like, you don't wanna be bringing up memories that you don't really think you should wanna remember, and it kinda makes
Yeah,
sense.
there is that. There is that part of it that says, well, there might be a very good reason why you don't remember. The other part of me screaming out, going, just, if there's something you might find out, just have a crack, just do it. So I'm actually in contact with a psychiatrist, and I'm going to have a look at different avenues to, I guess, try and recover lost memory or hidden memories. But like I said, there is that part of me that's just so reluctant of wanting to know. So at the moment, it's just on that scale, I guess, and probably just waiting to see where it lands, which side of the which side of the scale the weight goes.
Yeah. I got Nikki in the comments saying different groups, different agendas, so, like, it sort of makes you.
That certainly seems to be the key. And from what I've read up on and from what I've heard, uh, there's some tall ones, there's some skinny ones, there's all sorts of. It seems to be the more numbers that are involved in the incident, it seems to be the less care is given to the person or the, I don't know if you want to call them a victim, they may not want to identify as a victim. I don't identify as a victim. Uh, on the night I identified as a 3-year-old getting chastised by my grandparents. was how I was feeling. But yeah, I guess there's a lot to be said for the mind keeping you safe, or the consciousness keeping you safe, subconscious keeping you safe.
Yeah.
Uh, but the other thing, I guess, maybe too, in their protection of their agenda is, is this person subject's going to function properly if they're aware of what we're doing?
Yeah, that's another big question on that too, isn't it? Like, because that's the other thing I don't understand it with these beings doing what they do now, Now, there's stories of people, they're being abducted, they remember being abducted, they have those relations, like Jane Pooley, for example, claims to have been abducted from her earliest memory was, like, 2 or 3 years old, and there's constantly throughout the years she's growing up with them. That's what I was saying before. Like, why aren't they, like, building a relationship with these people, like yourself and other experiences? And, building relationships so sort of like who these beings are, obviously then it's gonna be common. It's you're gonna be like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, good, see you guys again. No worries. Yep, alright, we're busy again tonight. Yep, cool, no worries. Like, just make sure you put me back in my bed where I was before, Just don't dump me in
Yeah,
some random location like I've heard of other stories." But, you know, when it's a grown adult having these experiences, like, we're our own mind and body, we're our own person, and we understand the world as with how we understand it today. And yet then they're gonna throw this, like, curveball at us of, like, these beings, the next minute they're gonna abductions and stuff like that, and it's like, where and how does that even come into the concept of your life now? And, like, because like,
yeah.
you're so
And
unaware, you're so defenseless.
one of the big questions for me is, would I have awoken if I was at home? Was it because I was in a strange was it because I was in a strange surrounding, and the combination of being approached like that? Um, is that what sort of threw a spanner in the works? I guess if I was at home alone, would I have awoken?
Yeah, well, that
Uh,
does raise another
would
question
I?
too, because like at least with your if you're at home, you're more comfortable. You know, you're more relaxed. Whereas you're in a different environment, yeah, you're sort of probably a bit more
Yeah,
uncomfortable, bit more alert, I suppose,
yeah,
in that regard.
yeah, and that sort of, and like I said, that whole feeling of you're not meant to be here. What are you doing here? You need to stop it. It's just you're being silly. This is it just yeah, it just made me feel like I left school without my school bag and got home, and was just slapped on the wrist and being spoken to like a little child. Go back and get your school bag. God damn it! I'm meant to be getting dinner ready. Um, it was this whole tone of, like I don't have time for this. Uh, let's get this done, and I need to be out of here. Um, but like I said, the familiarity of the way I was spoken to, um, almost like I was spoken to in that way, knowing the response that they would get. Um, because as what is there, four different main types of personalities and all that sort of thing, and different people react to different things, and some people react differently to being spoken to abruptly than the other. I don't get spoken to abruptly ever. No one
Yeah,
speaks to me abruptly, so to be spoken to in that manner, and the, the being so familiar in the way they spoke, and the words chosen. Uh, there was no wasted energy on any word not required. It was just so. It was like someone just peeled open my skull, and I had no choice but just to receive exactly what was being said, and nothing else, and nothing more. There's no grey area. Pardon the pun.
mm. So, I'm gonna ask you a question here. I don't mean any disrespect out of it, and I know some people are probably gonna go and put this down to this question I'm gonna ask, but do you sort of feel like medications or coming off from a surgery could have played like people call it a hallucination or some sort of figment of something in that regard?
Look, 100%. To the point where I got up the next day and went straight outside, went straight to where it was standing. Happened to be with a good arm, so I could actually reach up and do and actually mimic exactly what I seen, and right down to the part of the torso and everything I could see just was so spot on. Um, don't think your imagination could be that accurate. Uh, the other thing is too, um, it's not the first time I've been heavily medicated. Uh, and like I said, I'm not a person that dreams or dreamt or even in the past remembered their dreams, whether it be through self medication, alcohol, whatever. Um, I have probably some pretty graphic dreams in relation to the post traumatic stress. And every one of those dreams are of a nature that are so worldly. Um, how do I put it? Most recent nightmare I had, that they're certainly not dreams, so graphic in a human way. They all revolve around a certain, how would I put it? They all revolve around a certain nucleus. Uh, so this just in no way, shape, or form fits into a dream state or a dream mode, I guess. Um, I've racked everything in my being to say it was a dream, and the argument falls flat. Uh, it just falls flat. I can't give that argument substance with what I experienced as much as I bloody want to. God, I want to. I can't. Don't know if that's much of an answer, but yeah,
Yeah, no, look, that pretty much narrows it. Like even when you explain the whole experience there, mate, like you can see by your body language, like there's no bullshitting about you. To put it sort
don't
of
have time for it.
strongly, like you know, and like the fact that you said there's a familiarity to it, like if I know you can have recurring dreams or something like, but to the point that where you actually you realize the whole concept of the whole dream. Like you don't usually realize what's happened. I'm saying that wrong now. With the dreams, like when you remember a dream or something, you go, "Oh, yeah, I remember that sort of dream." Like there's a little bit of it hazy, but for you, you had like a real strong sort of familiarization with the voice,
Yeah, and
just
and
not
like I
the.
said, with the post traumatic stress, uh, I've discovered one of the side effects is some pretty graphic nightmares. Uh, and yeah, it's pretty easy to tell the difference between a nightmare and what's not a nightmare. And yeah, that night wasn't a nightmare. I wish it was, but I'll sit here and say right now, I wish someone could prove otherwise. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And like I said, we just fall back onto the recovery side of things. I'm not 22. I'm not meant to be recovering in the state that I do, let alone the extensive surgery that I had done. Uh, like even at this stage now, I had the surgery just before Christmas, and I'm doing stuff that my physio is just going, no, you can't possibly be doing that yet. And I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing. Oh, could you try this exercise? And I'm like, well, I'm doing this exercise. And he's like, just no, I can't even do that exercise. So yeah, once again, I fall back on the recovery. It's mind-boggling to me, let alone to my specialist and my surgeon and my physio. Yeah,
Yeah. So when you went inspected outside the window, they like, did you see like any impressions? Like, was it dirt or was it grass?
no, it's a paved area, so basically it's just outside the laundry. So being in bed, go through the wall of my toes, you're into the laundry, exit door out to the, I guess what you'd say, a courtyard where there's one of those fold down clotheslines that hang on the wall. So yeah, nothing in there but locked gate at the front, and like I said, a crazy dog in the backyard. So yeah, you're not
No
getting in
fingerprints
there.
on the window at all or anything like that?
No, I mean, look, and that's because I do have a brother-in-law that loves a joke. So that was sort of my first sort of thing when I woke up in the morning was, what was that him last night? Was that? And then yeah, just going over it was like, holy shit! Like I jumped out of that bed. I walked outside. I stood in that position, and I just every part of me when I stood there looking through that window wanted to not be able to have a clear view of where I was, or some obstruction, some obscurity. Um, but there, yeah, second night, looking through that window again. Uh, yeah, there's no mistaking something was there. Uh, be nice if they did some extra stuff, did a little bit of extra
Yeah.
work on me. But yeah, yeah, I can't comprehend it any other way. I can't. Yeah, like I said, it'd be nice if my brother all played the joke, or if I could just go, oh yeah, that was a nightmare. Throw that off. Um, yeah, nothing that real can be a dream or a nightmare. It's, it's just, it is what it is, and like I said, the thing that really lives with me is the familiarity and the way I was spoken to. You just wouldn't know how to speak to someone like that unless you knew them. Yeah, it's brought me back into some of the things that happened in the past, long distance times sort of disappearing and not being in the right place at the right time, and to the point where I guess since we've last spoke, I've probably spent uh, at least 2 weeks of that in complete isolation. Uh, Hopefully, I guess in a way of meditation, I guess trying to get some answers, trying to work through what happened, and I guess it's just that whole subconscious thing of needing to be where I need to be.
So do you sort of feel like after this experience that it sort of opened up a lot of clarity to things that's happened in the past?
Yeah. Look, in yeah, look, absolutely. It's taken away. It's taken away that. What's the word for it? It's it's taken away that grey area of how I've walked away and survived other things in the past. Um, this time I know how I survived. I guess because I was more aware, less medicated in any way I was when I was younger. Um, it's certainly given me peace of mind knowing that I'm not crazy and that something is and has been there and has protected me in the past and still is and hopefully still will after I've spoken to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no stopping now, eh? It's like, just, yeah, don't give up on me now. You just gone this far. Come on, guys.
yeah, I mean, don't mean to make fun of it, but I sometimes wonder if I'm going to turn around and cop an uppercut.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
We told you.
And it's like, well, did you? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Oh, but
So,
look, mate,
yeah,
look, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like you got to put a bit of humor to it. Oh, it's just gonna it drags you down too much otherwise.
absolutely.
Like you can sit
And
there and be depressed all over it, and just you got to have a bit of a humor behind this sort of thing, even if it's like
I,
a
I
little bit
don't,
serious in a sense. But
I don't think it'd take much to be in a padded room if you went down the wrong path with this, if you know what I mean.
Exactly, and that's what like as we mentioned in the past, and you hear it all the time. People see it crazy, you're on drugs or something. That you're one of those people in the public that shouldn't be sharing this sort of stuff because like it is so out there. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand it until they've actually experienced it for themselves, and it is hard to believe because
Oh,
it absolutely is.
one, I'm sitting here and I struggle with it. So yeah, that's not offensive to me
Yeah.
to hear that.
Yes, but
Um,
look, mate. Look, I can't thank you enough, mate. Coming on and like sharing your experience, like as hard as it was for you, mate, and like you've made a massive milestone. I feel in your
Look,
own sort of path here.
if you didn't say what you said off air, I probably wouldn't have spoken about it. But but with what you said and the way you said it, just shocked me to the core, to the point where I was like, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, well, I even once you put it that way, yeah, it sort of does sort of make a bit of sense. Like, is this fate? Is this the way it was supposed to go?
Yeah, and look, I mean, I think there's two types of people. I think there's ones that put this in the back of their mind, shut it out, and never ever admit to the existence of it happening. And there's the other people that I think are just going to come out and say, well, this has happened, and like it or love it, it's what happened, and it's not up to me to, you know, to worry about being judged by others. Um, it's been good. It's been a great opportunity to actually put something you know, like this on a platform where you can be heard. Um, and like I said, I've got no issue with someone coming back at me and picking it apart and whatever. I've got no concern whatsoever. What happened happened, and I could have either buried my head in the sand and just continued on my merrily way, or I could look in the eye and accept it, and I guess appreciate that I'm involved in somehow, albeit whether I'm one of their guinea pigs or one of their projects, I don't know, but it's I guess I feel more privileged than hobbled by the experience.
I suppose, yeah, you gotta be sort of a bit thankful in a sense too. That like if they've been looking after you after all these years. It's
I mean,
one of those
exactly
things.
right. I mean, like I said, there's no way in the world I should have walked away with what happened to me in this last instance. To get taken out like I was, to be run over, front and back wheels, uh, you know, physics couldn't explain it. I can tell you now. So yeah, they're doing it for a reason. What that reason is being kept for some reason. But yeah, I certainly will never ever put my head down or deny what I've experienced and what I know. Um, it's not in me. I couldn't do it. Can't do it. So if someone wants to talk about it, I'm there. I'm happy to speak. I'm happy to hear what what other people have gone through. The old adage is we've got two ears and one mouth. We just got to use them accordingly.
It's it,
Uh, yeah,
It sort of
but
makes me wonder too, like what sort of technology they're using to be able to sort of protect you when the moment arises. Like, what kind of is this like some sort of magic? Is it a technology? What the hell is it that they can go and do to alter what the outcome that should have happened to you be?
yeah, and like as you were saying that, I can just hear the irritation in the tone of the voice that was used. Like you're not meant to be here. what, what are you doing? cutting into my time. I should be having a break soon.
When you definitely when you put it like that, it's makes me wonder what is going on for you. I keep questioning it to you. Like I even said this in the last time. Like, what is going on with your life? Like, what is so special? What's your life goal here, or what they have set for you in this path of life for you
Yeah,
to keep going the way you're going? It's there's something big for you, and I hope it's going to change the world. I honestly do.
yeah. Well, you know, if it's good, good. If it's bad, not good.
Obviously not. I guess we'll wait and see, mate. Like you could become the some demonic drone and start taking out the rest of the world for us for all we know, mate. Some
Yeah,
indestructible bloody drone of some sort.
yeah. Look, who knows? Maybe I'm some part of an experiment where they're trying to make sure that the people that are going to be here in the future are going to live healthy. Who knows? Got no idea. I'm happy for it though. I'd hate to have a low pain threshold. I really would. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm thankful for the gifts that I have, and yeah, like I said, I got no answers for you. I wish I could say it's because of this, and my recovery time happens because of that, and I don't get broken bones because of this. Um, but like I said, my surgeon can't answer those questions, so I got no chance.
yeah. Oh, mate, look, it's absolutely overwhelming, and yeah, again, I can't appreciate you enough for coming on talking the show, talking about your story, mate, and your experiences, mate. It's as scary as it is, and hard for you. It's just I can't thank you enough, mate, for even doing because like you're going to be encouraging so many people coming forward with their experiences as well, as hard as it can be. But yeah, like I said, like you've set a milestone here, and hopefully people are going to listen to this and sort of think like, look, if he can do this, I'm sure I can too. And
Yeah,
I'm sure you feel better talking about it in a sense.
yeah, I do a little bit, but yeah, I have this reluctance that's hovering over me. Um, but just in saying, touching what you said just then, hopefully we are and yourself are able to operate in a platform like this where the old rule of sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Yeah, look, that's pretty much all it is. Like people are going to have their judgments, and that you can't let it get to you. Um, the world is slowly changing. We're getting better with this whole stigma that's attached to this whole topic there, but we're also still trying to understand what the hell is going on too. And because
Yeah,
there's no evidence to sort of try and back this up, it makes it hard to sort of keep the stigma away. But we're slowly getting there. People are sort of understanding that there is a different reality that we don't understand, and
yeah.
it's we're getting there slowly.
There's a whole lot more out there. I think we have no clue about yet.
Yeah,
But like I said, I hopefully there's some young bright people out there that are experimenting their bums off with frequencies and other things, and you never know, we might get some answers.
absolutely, mate. Look, mate, again, thank you very much, mate, for coming on, mate. And yeah, I can't thank you enough, mate. It's absolutely wonderful having you back on and to
Uh,
continue on where you went.
Look, to be honest with you, it's a credit to you running what you do and having what you've got running. It's a pleasure and 100% respect to what you're achieving and what your goal is.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it, mate. And yeah, again, man, thank you very much. It's absolutely
Uh,
awesome.
all good. Be well. Be
You
safe.
too, mate. Enjoy, mate. All right,
See
cheers,
ya.
mate. I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you in a minute. All right, guys. Look at this way here, and I'm going to throw myself up here. So, thank you very much, everyone. It was wow. Um, that whole experience there just it got me, yeah, in that. Yep, I'm not going to keep talking about it because this is yeah. I hope you guys. I'm kind of speechless on this whole thing. Yeah, it's got me stumped. Um, yeah. Look, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. As difficult as it was going through this thing, a big appreciation to Mick coming on, mate, and talking about his experiences there, as hard as it was for him. So either way, big thank you to him. I'm still at a loss. I'm trying to go where I'm going now. Yeah, guys, just a reminder, we do have the online store here now. Jeez, wow, I can not talk at all. Um, Online stores there. Check out the merchandise there. I'm going to throw this out quickly if I can try and share this there. If I can share this, if I do some quick little bitsy here, that might be it there. That's it there. And this is the new design I've got out at the moment there. It's a bit of a new dedication to what I've got here, so I can throw that up there. So that's my new shirts designs there, and I've got Mick still on the side here. I don't know if does that look anything familiar to what you saw, Mick? And then a little bit briefly, I'll put your mic back on there, and I don't want to sort of scare you too much on that, but
Mate, I tell you what, the eyes weren't so sharp heading up to the tips out sort of to the angle, and they were just sort of straight up and down. I tell you what, you wouldn't be too far off the money.
oh, shit. I was sort of reluctant to do this, and I thought, oh, I've got to try and, yeah, I was reluctant, but to get an idea so people can sort of get a bit more visualization on it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
thankfully it didn't look that menacing.
it's all right. That's all right. That's
And
good.
if they turn up, I hope they only turn up with one.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yep. All right, mate. I'm gonna get this away from you now. So anyway.
Oh,
All right.
fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, guys. Yeah, that much is there. It's a new design there I got there. It's basically my new slogan for the whole podcast. There was like, I don't believe I know, because obviously people are experiencing things out there, and they also don't believe anymore because they bloody well know that shit is out there. So that's basically the concept of my slogan. Got heaps of other designs on there: keychains, mugs, shirts, hats. Um, Heap of other cool stuff there. Go and check it out, guys. The link is in the comments sections there, which is should up. Hopefully, the link works. If not, just hit up the Facebook page, and there should be a post up there in regards to the new online store. So if you're interested, go and check it out, and yeah, see if there's anything of interest to you. To go and help support the podcast. To go and help share it out there. But yeah, anyway, guys, look, I'm going to love it and leave you. Don't forget, if you have had any experience yourself, to come and if you're interested to come on the podcast, hit me up. Love to get you on the show and have a talk. And yeah, if you have, yeah, don't forget to go and share it to your friends and family so it help the podcast grow and get a bit more known throughout the world. I can't think of any more because I'm still flabbergasted for the whole the whole episode we just did. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I'll see you in the next live ones. All right, hero guys, catch you later.